everyone, welcome back. I am back again to give you the latest update on what is going on with the adult orthodontic treatment plan. I am a little behind this month, but we've kind of been busy and been out and have been gardening and all kinds of other things that you'll probably see on this channel. So, in the meantime, I did want to come back and give you a quick rundown on what has been going on with the orthodontic treatment. And I'm about a week out from my next appointment now, so probably a good time to check in because it's usually a week or two after that where I film my next update. So you'll have one coming up in a couple weeks, but in the meantime, let's go over what you've missed. Mostly good news, as usual, which is great, but not everything's great, and I will share those things with you also. But first and foremost, I screwed up. I was not halfway through last time I talked to you. I did some bad calendar math. For some reason, I had it in my head for quite some time that I was looking at 12 to 16 months. And I don't know why. I don't know where I got that number from because the real number was 18 to 20 months. And I knew that when we started. I'm pretty sure if I go back in my first videos that'll be what I said. And then somewhere along the line, I had got it in my head that it was 12 to 16, and I don't know when or why, but so then I, was doing the math and figuring, oh, we're halfway there. Yeah, I was so excited. But it was a little strange because I didn't necessarily feel halfway there. I didn't feel like that much had changed yet. I didn't feel like we had gone through that many steps yet. We had only gotten up to the next rigid wire on the bottom, not even on the top. So I was a little panicky, and I was thinking, well, I need to ask him questions about, starting to get posts implanted for the implants that we want to do after the braces are done. I need to start talking to him about the space here and like, is this where we expect it to be by now? And just different things that I suddenly felt under the gun about, because I'm like, whoa, if we're halfway there, like, shouldn't more of these things be coming along? So I kind of went with a list of questions to my last appointment, and then I was like, how many bands have we done? How many will we do? And are we behind because of certain things not moving as fast? And he was like, no, you are right on schedule for 18 to 20 months still. Everything's looking good. And I was like, oh, that's right. That's what it is. So I was instantly a little bit bummed because I just put myself way back from where I thought I was, but it also made more sense. And him saying I was right on track made more sense when I realized I was a few months behind what I was thinking. So there it is. We were not halfway there. We are now 9 months in. And so if I'm done in 18, I'm halfway there, but it could be 20 months. So I will still say I am very close to halfway there at this point. Cannot believe that I messed that up, but there you go. I'm only human, and I apologize for the bad information I gave you last time. So I just wanted to come on and be honest about that boy, did I screw that up. But it's okay, because the treatment plan is going exactly the way it's supposed to, and I'm apparently right on schedule, even if I don't know what that schedule is. So, last time I was here to update you guys on what's been going on, I had let you know that he had fixed the things that I had broken, and he had put the rigid wire on the bottom, so that was exciting. And in the meantime, since then, I have gone back and had the rigid wire placed on the top, which is fantastic. But he did not bridge the entire gap from here to here. which I'm very happy about, because when last I left you, that wire going across this gap, which is much smaller, was driving me insane. And I'll be honest, that went on a lot longer than I would have liked. That so far has probably been the hardest adjustment and took the longest to adjust to. No, it's not just, you know, when your cheek's moving against the wire throughout the day when you're eating and talking, but when I was sleeping, I would lay on it, you know, for hours at a time, and I'd get up in the morning and there'd be like a cut line across my cheek from where the wire had been. And then it would take all day to sort of heal and stop hurting, and then I'd go to bed and it'd happen again, and there really isn't anything that you can put in there because I didn't want stuff to, like, even gauze to get caught on the wires. So it was basically just tough it out and get used to it. Sometimes that's all there is to do. You just suck it up until it gets better. Those are the less fun parts. But it does happen, and it is what it is, you know. Again, it's not all going to be easy. I am aware of that. So anyways, that was kind of a difficult situation for a little while. I was definitely annoyed by it. But like everything else, I got through it, and now it's not bothering me anymore. Even when I sleep on it, it doesn't bother me anymore, thankfully. Now, the bottom wire was cutting my cheek because it goes across this gap. And that's like a one-tooth gap. Up here, it's much wider. It's like 2 teeth wide. He was planning to connect it all the way to the back tooth, and I was very worried about a wire twice the size as this one now being on that side. And I asked him, you know, do we have to do that right now, or can that wait? And he's like, you know what, actually, no, let's not connect it today. That can wait. And I made sure to ask him, I'm like, well, again, will that put us behind? Is that gonna throw things off? And he was like, no, we can definitely wait to connect it to the back till next time. That'll be fine. So I'm like, good, because if we don't need to, then I'll put that off as long as possible on it, because I will have to adjust to that again. And I imagine it will be much the same, if not a little worse, because it's a wider space. It is what it is. You can't put wax over a wire. There's nothing for it to hold on to. It just cuts right through the second your cheek puts any pressure on it. So again, there's not really a lot you can do other than get used to it. So as long as that is not putting me behind schedule, I will put that off as long as possible. But we are at the first quote-unquote rigid wire, not the flexible wires anymore, on both the top and the bottom. So yay, that is exciting. I did ask about the space, and it's definitely wider. In the beginning, like I said, it had closed a little and then it kind of stopped, and now it's even wider than it was before, but it's because everything's not necessarily connected up the way it's going to be yet. What he said was that would be last. He's like, that will be easy, and he's going to cinch it and it will close very quickly. But he needed to do the work that we're doing on the back teeth first to get those aligned, and he couldn't do that if he was closing the gap on the front teeth. So that's things that apparently can't happen simultaneously. Or at least not for my treatment plan. He said that, you know, we needed to work on this first and then that was going to come after. And I'm like, that's fine. As long as there is a plan for that and that this is where we expect to be right now, that's fine. Like, I trust him. I really do. He's great. So there is that. Other than that, I don't think that a lot has changed since I spoke to you last. I can definitely feel more movement. And with the rigid wires, I can feel it longer. So with the more flexible wires, whenever he would, you know, I would go in and things would get adjusted or whatever, it would bother me for a couple days and then pretty much go right back to normal. With the rigid wire, it's a slower but longer process, which again is good because it makes me realize this is This is moving things a little more forcefully because it's still moving, 4 weeks later. I can feel it. And you can tell because, a certain tooth in a certain area will be sore from time to time. And you can tell, like, oh, well, that must be the one that's the most out of line right now. And because the wire is a rigid shape and it's trying to pull your teeth to adhere to that shape. So some of them are anchors and are already there, and then some of them are very far out of that line, and those are the ones that are going to move the most in whichever direction. And so you'll feel, individual teeth sore here or there. But again, that means it's working, so that's great. But it was different. I noticed that was different. The more rigid the wire gets, like the longer that movement seems to be drawn out. So there it is, guys. I think that's pretty much everything that's been going on lately, and I will be back in just a couple of weeks to give you another update, and if there's anything exciting that comes up in the meantime, I'll come on and let you know. This update was a little late, and I apologize for that, but since the rain finally stopped and the sun decided to come out a little bit, I've decided to get outside a little bit, and I've gotten behind on videoing and editing, but I promise I will be better in the future. And there'll be another one coming in just a couple of weeks because I will be back for what will officially, well, maybe be the halfway mark. We shall see. Enjoy this beautiful weather. I hope it is beautiful wherever you are. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.